This video contains audio content only. There are no visual elements or images accompanying the audio. If you're expecting to see video footage, please note that this is an intentional audio-only presentation. We recommend listening to this content rather than watching the screen. Thank you for your understanding and enjoy the audio. Hello and welcome to today's exploration of the fascinating world of Indonesian horror stories and the terrifying ghosts and mythological figures that haunt them. Indonesia is a country with a rich tapestry of folklore, superstition and cultural beliefs that have given rise to some truly spine-chilling tales of the supernatural. In this video, we'll be delving into 10 of the most iconic and feared ghosts and spirits that feature prominently in Indonesian horror. From vengeful female specters to shape-shifting demons, these legendary entities have captured the imaginations and struck fear into the hearts of Indonesians for generations. But beyond just being scary stories, these tales also offer a window into the beliefs, values and history of Indonesian society. The supernatural is deeply intertwined with everyday life and culture in Indonesia, influencing everything from religious practices to social norms. By examining these ghost stories, we can gain a richer understanding of Indonesian culture as a whole. So sit back, turn out the lights if you dare, and get ready for a chilling journey through the haunted realms of the Indonesian supernatural. We'll meet terrifying hantu, or ghosts, learn the dark origins of their creation, and discover the role they continue to play in Indonesian society to this very day. Let's begin our countdown of the top 10 ghosts and mythological figures in Indonesian horror. 1. Kuntilanak. Leading off our list is perhaps the most famous and feared ghost in all of Indonesia, the Kuntilanak. The name Kuntilanak comes from the Indonesian words for woman and child, hinting at the tragic origins of this vengeful spirit. According to legend, a Kuntilanak is the ghost of a woman who died while pregnant, often as a result of violence or suicide. Denied entry to the afterlife, her anguished soul instead becomes a Kuntilanak, forever wandering the earth and tormenting the living. Kuntilanak are said to appear as pale-skinned women with long black hair, red eyes, and dressed all in white. They haunt cemeteries, abandoned buildings, and even under certain trees like banana or frangipani, waiting to prey on unsuspecting passers-by, especially men and children. Known for their high-pitched laughter and wailing cries, a Kuntilanak attack is said to be preceded by the sweet scent of the frangipani flower, right before the stench of rotting flesh hits you. Victims are brutally slaughtered with the ghost's long, sharp nails. But the most disturbing aspect of the Kuntilanak's powers is its ability to transform into a beautiful woman to seduce men. Only after luring them in do they reveal their true, horrifying form and exact their bloody vengeance on the male species. Myths of the Kuntilanak often serve as dark morality tales, warning of the consequences of sin, the dangers that await in the night, and the need to treat women, especially pregnant ones, with respect, lest you incur a ghost's wrath. Regardless, the Kuntilanak remains one of the most bone-chilling and iconic figures in Indonesian horror culture. 2. Pocong. If the Kuntilanak is the queen of Indonesian ghosts, then the pocong is surely the king. Pocong are the trapped souls of the dead who departed the world before their time, doomed to roam the earth until their unfinished business is complete. When a body is prepared for Islamic funeral rites in Indonesia, it is wrapped tightly from head to toe in white cloth and tied with a knot at the top of the head. It's said that if this knot isn't untied after the burial, the deceased spirit will emerge as a pocong, hopping around awkwardly with its legs bound together. A pocong appears as a figure wrapped in white grave clothes with a pale, eerie face surrounded by darkness. Some describe their eyes as deep black holes of endless sorrow. They're most active at night in cemeteries and places associated with death. Besides haunting and terrorizing the living, pocong are known to grant wishes to those brave enough to strike a bargain, especially wishes for revenge against the living. However, dealing with a pocong always comes at a terrible cost, often leading to insanity or the wisher becoming a pocong themselves. The pocong is a chilling reminder of the importance of properly honoring the dead in Indonesian culture. Only by ensuring all funeral rites are completed properly can a soul move on to the afterlife in peace. The pocong will continue to haunt the living until it can be released from its earthly bonds. 3. Genderuwo. Not all Indonesian ghosts are the remnants of human souls. The ancient rainforests and mountains are said to be home to a range of supernatural creatures, and few are as feared as the genderuwo. The genderuwo is a huge, ape-like demon, sometimes described as a forest imp or ogre. Covered in dark, matted hair with glowing red eyes, genderuwo are known to be incredibly strong, able to uproot trees and crush boulders with their large, clawed hands. According to Javanese folklore, genderuwo are tricksters who take delight in disturbing and harassing humans who intrude upon their forest domain. They're notorious for their mischievous behavior, including pelting people with rocks, stealing food and possessions, and even snatching small children who wander too far into the woods. But the genderuwo's most disturbing trait is its habit of sexually assaulting and impregnating human women. It's said that genderuwo can take human form, often appearing as a beautiful man, in order to seduce their female victims. The offspring of such a union are said to be monstrous, half-human half-genderuwo abominations. The genderuwo seems to embody the wild, untamed forces of nature that exist outside of human civilization. It's a reminder that there are ancient, dark powers in the forests that are not to be trifled with. Some believe genderuwo legends arose as a way to scare people away from dangerous wild animals in undeveloped areas of the jungle. 4. Sundel Bolong. Sometimes the most tragic stories make for the most terrifying ghosts. Such is the case with Sundel Bolong, a female spirit born out of unimaginable suffering and cruelty. The name Sundel Bolong literally means drilled prostitute in Indonesian, referring to the large, gaping hole in the ghost's back. According to legend, Sundel Bolong was a beautiful young woman who worked as a prostitute and was brutally murdered by being impaled through the back. Another version states she was a woman who died from an unsanctioned abortion. Now her angry spirit roams the earth, appearing as a gorgeous woman with long black hair dressed in white. Men are said to be hypnotized by her beauty, lured in by her seductive manner. Only when approached do they see the huge, bloody hole in her back. Those who are entranced by Sundel Bolong are doomed to be killed or driven insane. She is especially known to target men who frequent prostitutes or who have committed acts of violence against women. The Sundel Bolong legend has been interpreted as a karmic morality tale against the exploitation of sex workers. Sundel Bolong's horrifying appearance, with beauty masking a rotting wound, seems to symbolize society's failure to protect its most vulnerable women. She is a tragic figure lashing out at a world that brutalized her in life. The tale of Sundel Bolong is a chilling reminder of the cyclic violence bred by oppression. 5. Wiwi Gombol. Another female ghost said to target children is Wiwi Gombol, although her motivations are apparently more benevolent than her terrifying appearance would suggest. Wiwi Gombol is described as an old crone with long, matted hair and saggy breasts that hang down to her stomach. She haunts cemeteries and dark places, lying in wait to snatch up misbehaving children that she keeps in her nest in tall palm trees. Yet despite her horrifying modus operandi, Wiwi Gombol is actually said to be a kind of tough-love maternal figure. She only takes children who are neglected by their parents, and supposedly treats them well, feeding them mussel shells and fish bones she gathers from the beach. Legend has it that parents of a taken child must admit their neglectful behavior and promise to do better, leaving offerings of food and trinkets under the tree where Wiwi Gombol nests. Only then will this hag ghost return the child. Some interpret Wiwi Gombol as actually being the ghost of a woman who, having been unable to have children in life, now adopts neglected children in death. She's a haunting personification of maternal instinct, with a dark reminder for parents not to neglect their most precious treasures. 6. Jenglot. Not all Indonesian ghosts are free-roaming terrors. Some can apparently be captured and tamed to serve the will of humans, for good or for ill. One such spirit creature is the Jenglot. The Jenglot is described as a small, living doll, said to be created through the use of dark magic on an unborn fetus. With leathery skin, fangs, and long hair, a Jenglot is kept by a master, usually a shaman, and fed blood in exchange for granting power or wishes. Jenglot are used in a range of Indonesian occult practices. Some are supposedly worshipped in exchange for good luck, health and fortune. Others are used for the more nefarious purpose of placing curses on the master's enemies. The Jenglot is said to be able to seek out and magically attack a target, causing illness, insanity or death. Masters must be careful to keep a Jenglot appeased with blood offerings, or risk having the creature turn against them. Historically, Jenglot may have been fetuses stolen from graves or medical facilities to be used as totems by black magic practitioners. Today, alleged, real, Jenglot are sometimes put on display or sold to collectors, although most are gruesome dolls or fakes. The concept of the Jenglot seems to carry echoes of ancient Indonesian beliefs about the power of blood and the magical properties of the dead. It's a disturbing embodiment of the idea that spirits and people can be enslaved and exploited for personal gain. 7. Palasik. Another blood-drinking ghost said to be a servant of dark magicians is the gruesome Palasik of Sumatra. The Palasik is a type of vampiric spirit created when a person makes a pact with a demon in life and is transformed into an undead creature after death. Palasik are described as having an elongated tongue that can reach through cracks in walls or under doors to lap up the blood of sleeping victims. They are said to favor pregnant women and can suck a fetus right out of the womb. Some legends even describe Palasik as ripping open the stomachs of their prey to feast on their entrails. Yet Palasik don't only feed on blood. They crave a most unusual delicacy of roasted crab that has been fed the tears of a virgin. Because of this, Palasik are said to serve their black magic masters by seeking out virgin girls and harassing them to collect their tears to nurture the ghost crab. Like the Jenglot, a Palasik can also be used to carry out a shaman or wizard's commands, usually to attack enemies. They are vicious, stealthy predators who bring terror wherever they roam in servitude to their dark lords. The horrific acts of invading bedrooms and tearing babies from wombs ascribed to the Palasik seem to echo real human evils like sexual assault and lack of women's bodily autonomy. The Palasik legend speaks to societal fears of violation and loss of control over one's own body. 8. Color Wiwi. According to legend, the Color Wiwi was once a powerful king of the Majapahit Empire of Java who used black magic to cheat death. But this immortal sorcerer king paid a terrible price for his unnatural longevity. It's said that after hundreds of years, the Color Wiwi's skin has become gray and leathery, pulling tight across his emaciated frame. His eyes are sunken holes and his teeth are rotten fangs that hunger for human flesh. Robes hang loose on his skeletal body. The Color Wiwi is said to haunt the sacred Setra Gandamayu burial complex in the city of Kudaraja. There he performs dark rituals to maintain his undead existence, feeding on the decaying flesh of corpses. Some tales even describe him ripping fetuses from the wombs of pregnant she-demons to consume. Like many other Indonesian ghosts, the Color Wiwi may also be commanded to carry out evil deeds by human black magic practitioners. He is compelled to obey those who know the correct demonic rites and sacrifices to offer. The Color Wiwi seems to embody the idea that those who gain power through evil means are doomed to become monsters. He is a warped, wasted creature, crippled by his own dark compulsions, a very image of the corrupting nature of selfish power. 9. Laik. In Balinese folklore, the laik is a person who practices black magic, often depicted as an evil sorcerer or witch. What sets laik apart, however, is their ability to magically detach their head from their body and fly about, trailing their disembodied entrails behind them. A laik's flying head is said to glow like a fireball in the darkness as it hunts for victims, making eerie screeching noises. It seeks out pregnant women in order to suck the blood of their unborn babies. Like many Indonesian ghosts, laik seem to be strongly associated with threatening fetuses, and disturbingly, Indonesian folklore is full of demons who feed on the unborn. When a laik is in human form, they are said to be practitioners of the magical martial arts who use their powers to bring misfortune, illness and death to people for their own gain. They may be assassins who use black magic to kill, or greedy people who exploit their power for wealth and influence. Some describe laik as looking like normal people by day but transforming into horrible creatures with fangs, long tongues and fiery eyes at night to carry out their evil deeds under the cover of darkness. Laik myths probably arose as a way to explain strange sounds and lights in the night, as well as provide a scapegoat for misfortunes like sickness, accidents, or crop failures. The layak may represent societal evils that bring harm to communities for their own selfish desires. 10. Hantu Raya. We'll end our ghost tour with the terrible Hantu Raya, a vampiric ghost so feared that many Indonesians still refuse to say its name, believing that to do so is to invite the creature's wrath. According to legend, the Hantu Raya is the twisted soul of someone who died by suicide, murdered their own family, or committed unforgivable sins. Trapped between worlds, this tormented spirit now exists as a terrifying undead creature with a taste for human blood. A Hantu Raya is said to have a hideous, elongated face with huge fangs and bulging eyes. Its tongue is long and sharp for wounding victims, and its fingers taper into razor-like claws. Most horribly, a Hantu Raya's body is bisected from head to groin, leaving its insides partially exposed. Hantu Raya haunt cemeteries, forests and abandoned buildings, waiting to ambush unwary humans. They use dark magic to render their victims immobile so they can feed on their blood, ripping open throats and bellies with their terrible claws and teeth. Some myths even describe Hantu Raya as consuming their victims' souls as well. Like many other Indonesian ghosts, Hantu Raya are thought to be most active during the dark of the moon and can be warded off with offerings of food and incense. Yet such measures are only temporary solutions. The Hantu Raya's bloodlust cannot be permanently satisfied. The Hantu Raya seems to embody the idea that some trespasses are so terrible that they forever warp the soul, transforming people into literal monsters. It is a haunting reminder of the thin line between life and death and good and evil within the human heart. Throughout our eerie exploration today, we've met some of the most infamous and feared supernatural entities in Indonesian lore: vengeful spirits, mischievous demons, undead monsters, and ravenous ghouls. These 10 iconic ghosts and goblins provide a captivatingly creepy cross-section of the rich mythology of the Indonesian islands. Yet these stories of terror are more than just spine-chilling folktales. They offer a fascinating glimpse into Indonesian culture and society, reflecting complex beliefs about life, death, morality, gender, power, and consequence. Ghost stories reveal the values, anxieties, tragedies, and historical scars that have shaped Indonesia over generations. A recurring theme seems to be the idea that those who die violently, by their own hand, or with unfinished business are doomed to linger as angry spirits, plaguing the living. This speaks to beliefs about the importance of a proper death and burial, as well as cultural anxieties around suicide and unfulfilled duties. Another unsettling motif is that of monstrous beings who threaten pregnant women and unborn children, a disturbing manifestation of societal fears around violation of women's bodies and loss of the next generation. Misogynistic violence and lack of female agency are confronted through vengeful female ghosts like Sundel Bolong. Many of these ghosts are also linked to the perils of tampering with the supernatural through black magic. Creatures like Jenglot and Palasik represent the dangers of humans trying to exploit dark forces for personal gain. They warn of how selfish abuses of power can corrupt and consume, creating monsters. At the same time, ghosts like the Layak and Wiwi Gombel may have arisen as explanations for mysterious sights, sounds, and happenings in a pre-scientific era. They reflect an understanding of a world filled with unseen powers that can impact human lives, an animist worldview common to many ancient cultures. The preponderance of these entities in Indonesian popular culture, from folktales to films, shows how ghost stories continue to resonate in the modern imagination. They are a way of exploring primal fears, social ills, and the mysteries of death through the safe lens of fiction and myth. Yet these myths have roots in real beliefs, real history, and very real human struggles. To hear these ghastly tales is to hear the whispered anxieties and obsessions of generations of Indonesians from all walks of life. They are cultural heirlooms, passed down and retold over flickering candles and behind shaking hands. Perhaps by confronting these macabre myths, by daring to stare into the sunken eye sockets of Indonesia's ghosts and demons, we can exorcise some of our darkest fears and emerge with a deeper understanding of the human experience in all its beauty and hideousness. The haunted archipelago of Indonesia beckons you to listen to its ghoulish secrets. So the next time you're alone in the dark, when you hear a strange creak, or feel an uncanny chill, remember these ghastly specters. For they may be lurking just beyond the light, eager to give you a glimpse of the other side. Thank you for joining us on this spine-tingling journey through the ghosts and legends of Indonesia. If you enjoyed our ghastly tales, be sure to like and subscribe for more frightfully fascinating content. We'll be back to haunt your earbuds again soon. Until next time, keep your salt close and your nightlight closer. Sweet screams.